This is HYDE16. Just wanted to shoot a quick video of the Aquamist HFS-4 kit. A lot of people have been asking about the setup I run, and I wanted to start shooting a video to show all the components. So in the back I have a 2.3 gallon cooling mist tank, externally vented. So at the top we put a port in and it runs outside of the trunk and outside of the cabin, so there's no fumes inside the car. Underneath the WeatherTech liner and the false floor, I lined the whole trunk and I have the pump mounted on top of the spare tire well, and then the line runs underneath the car along the passenger side and up into the engine bay. It comes up back by the turbo with the Nomex line here, and then we'll run through by the mount, catch can, and across to a fast acting valve. From there it runs across the top of the radiator, 4mm line, drops underneath the custom plate that I built, and comes back up at the distribution block, which I have with coverings around it and also all of the heat shrink wrap. All of these run up underneath the air intake filter, underneath the MAF, and they come up and they run direct port. So for each of the cylinders, you can't see this one, but I have them all going into 90 degree. They're all 0.6 jets for each cylinder. And then underneath this custom plate there's another T fitting that runs down to a 0.4 post intercooler jet, and then at the end of this distribution block you'll see here it runs around and loops to a cooling mist solenoid. You can't really see because of the sun, but then what that is triggered by a water meth button inside the car, and that will trigger this line which runs up for a pre-turbo jet. That's a 0.3. All the jets are check valve jets except for this one because it's controlled by the solenoid. I'm not worried about vacuum pulling it in, but that was a recent addition for a pre-turbo jet. So if we go into the car, standard HFS-4 controller. My low and high failsafe are wide open right now as I'm testing flow with and without the pre-turbo jet to figure out where the failsafe should be. My SC trimmer is set right about 12 o'clock. That gets the flow rate to 75% under wide open throttle and not further. If we were to see it from this point go further to 100%, there would be a problem with the system. Down here I put in the double apex water methanol button. This is a new addition. So this button, when powered, I'll turn the car on. When you press the button, it lights up orange for on, and that'll trigger the solenoid to open, which will allow flow now to the pre-turbo. But when I turn it off, it doesn't allow flow to the pre-turbo any longer. This will light up red when the headlights are turned on, or it's just off during the day. And then as for my board settings, there's the HFS-4 board. I have the jumpers. Basically, trigger is on MPS, so I run my system based on boost trigger, and then as soon as it's triggered by boost around 5 psi, it takes over with PIR at 100% fuel. So it's calculating its MAP or its progressive spray pattern based on fuel only. So trigger by boost, and then it follows kind of the injector duty cycle input that's coming from the ECU. Threshold I have at about 5 psi. PIR I said is 100% fuel. Gain I have about at a 3 o'clock position right now. Right now this is allowing me to hit the max flow rate of 95% IDC, or the max that the system is going to flow, at about 4100 RPM. And with APR's V3.1 software file on the 93 file or the 100 octane file, the maximum boost comes on around 4100. So to match the boost, I have maximum gain and flow at that point. Fail-safe delay, it's at 12 o'clock. Standard dim is at 12 o'clock. And then as for the rest of the jumpers, I have mine on MPS, progressive water meth, and then there's the park, and then I'm running it on DR1, CLP, and then FS0, and then it's on the fail-safe now, defeat high boost.